the go-ahead just now. Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that, Suarez has just joined right on time. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TTL F1 League 2. We are here for round 2 of the championship, and it's your home Grand Prix, Paco. We're here in Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Catalunya. Of course, good evening, everyone. I'm James Head, going to be taking you through the action, as always, on a Friday night. This evening is, of course, Mr. Paco Suarez. Paco, how you doing?
Hello everyone, sorry for being late. I was having some issues connecting to PSN, but in the end I was able to, and yeah, excited about the race. They've shown us that generally we have good show on track, and why not today having the same scenes, you know? So probably we will have good racing today in Spain.
If we have anything like the legendary battle that we had between Key and Storm last week in Bahrain, then you are in for a right old treat here tonight for TTL F2. And of course it was Key who took the win in Bahrain, unlocked himself for first position. I had to use that pun in there. Storm finishing in second and Pariah finishing in third position. And Key also awarded Driver of the Day. How does that reflect on the standings? And we'll run through these in a little bit more detail because we have got about 5 minutes until we are supposed to start. Key leading on 25 points, from Storm in second on 18 and Pariah in third on 15. Obviously Bahrain happened last week, Paco. Top 3 pretty much right up there throughout.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, to be honest, I think that we have, how to say it, we have a really competitive grid. I mean, we have because Mashiro in the challenge event, he showed some dominance, you know, but then in Bahrain he had issues and he was not up there where he should, and this shows that if you're not consistent to be on top, probably you're not gonna be able to fight for the championship.
I think with Mashiro, he was actually quite unlucky last week out on track. I think he got caught up in a few incidents out on track. And obviously, hopefully, we're going to see him back to his best and hopefully back to his dominant self as we normally do. And of course, it was, as I say, Key who took the win. Looking down the rest of the standings, and I'll run through these now. Access was fourth, but Mashiro did finish 5th in that Bahrain race. I think it's a performance that he can be proud of. He came back through the field from, I think, nearly last position last week. I think he should do well here tonight. Hades in 6th on 8, with Atlas Copo in 7th on 6, White Billy in 8th on 4, then Jeffrey in 9th on 3. He got the fastest lap of the race within the top 10, and Maze on that 1 point. Pretty easy standings would have been the first round of the championship, because you just have to run through what happened last week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it makes the commentator job easier, you know. But probably after this race, we'll have some more trouble.
I think we will. I honestly think this race in Spain, where we are known for overtaking, where we are known for a DRS train, it's really going to ensure, I think, a fair playing field here tonight for the drivers out on track. McLaren do lead the way on 35 points within the constructors. Toro Rosso second on 23. Racing Point and Alfa Romeo tied for third on 18 points, with Haas in 5th on 4 points, Red Bull in 6th on 3, and Renault in 7th on 1. Mercedes and Ferrari, the two big teams, yet to score any points this season, but of course we're just one round in and anything can happen here.
Yeah, definitely it can. Imagine Williams scoring some points, you know. They are being really loyal to reality. I mean, being last in the constructors, but probably today is a good day to change that tendency, you know. Let's see if the William guys can actually score some points today. Well, actually the William guy, because it's only Lord Holton, it seems, racing for Williams today.
Lord Holton, I think the other driver, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, is YWR Storm, who I think is not attending here tonight, which is a shame, but Williams only down to the one driver currently. Hopefully, though, we are going to see Williams do score some points, and hopefully Mercedes and Ferrari will score some points sooner rather than later as well. We're here in Spain, your home track, Paco, and 16 corners around here. This should be a real tricky track for the drivers to get a grip of.
Definitely it should, and just to give some advices or to give some important key points to have to bear in mind today. You have to really watch out for the exit of turn 2 because it's really tricky. If you touch too much of that curb, you definitely lose the back end, and definitely you have some more interesting points or corners in this circuit. For example, the second DRS straight, that exit you have to watch out because you can have a warning for track extendings really easy. And you have to watch out to not lose the back end again. About the setup in that circuit, I think it's pretty easy forward to make a setup. I mean, you don't need that much straight line speed, so probably we will see most drivers carrying aerodynamic setups. And about racing, well, you've said it, it's a difficult track to overtake, it's a difficult track to see battling, but these drivers are capable of everything, so why not seeing a good race tonight?
I think honestly tonight we're going to see a fantastic track, and looking at the graphics there coming up, the graphics all working perfectly fine. Honey Badger using the new graphics and overlays for our stream here tonight, and a big shout out to him because he did last night as well in TTL F1, once again here to guide us through on the stream. So hopefully you guys are getting the fancy stuff. Well, everyone on my channel, and because I'm streaming obviously from my channel, which is then being broadcasted to the main channel, everyone on my channel is probably expecting, what the hell's this? It's TTL F1, and we are here for League 2 around Spain, and we're just moments away from qualifying. What I'm going to do in the meantime, though, because my voice is hurting like mad, I'm going to go downstairs for a drink. So, Paco, you can be in the commentary box by yourself for a couple of minutes, if you don't mind.
Yes, alright. So, we are heading to qualifying. Basically, probably the strategy to do in Spain is medium hards, if I'm not mistaken. So, most of the drivers will probably go on mediums to do their fastest lap. Unless there's rain incoming, that could be a key factor today. And about the race, I mean, it's 33 laps, if I'm not wrong. So it's actually a long race. I mean, you have plenty of time to try and make your strategy work. If you are caught up in an incident in lap 1, you still have time to try and make a comeback through the field. Probably not the most easy circuit to try and overtake. And it seems we have dry track. It seems, I would say that's dry. I think it is, basically. Yeah, it is. So there shouldn't be problems to try and go for mediums or hards, depending on the strategy they are. The clock has started its countdown, and we should start seeing drivers going out of their pits. I would say, if I have to bet for someone to take pole, well, probably I would go for the easy choice, Mashiro, but seeing what Strom has done in different qualies, I think that probably today it's a perfect day to show that he can be a serious, an interesting title contender. As we can see, the first cars going out, I think it's a McLaren was the first one, and behind him is a Toro Rosso. It's a Piraya 22. So, he's on hards. Most of the drivers, I think that they've gone out on tracks, and I think that we have James back.
We do indeed, yeah. Key, the first one out on track, and I think you were running through the strategies there. In terms of the strategies, I think out on track, you're definitely going to see a set of hard compound tyres and a set of mediums here, and it does look a bit overcast compared to last night where we had blue skies. It does look a bit overcast, which will really play into these guys and a set of mediums, especially because they will operate at a much lower temperature because of the cold tyres. I might seem a bit out of breath. I am. I've just gone and got a drink. Goodness me. Oh.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
And about what you said about the strategy, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's an easy medium hards. Probably if you go with a soft, it would be difficult to make a one stop. You would have to go on hards. but if you go on softs, it will be really difficult to keep temperatures low and all that. So probably most of the drivers today will go on hards or mediums.
Yep, Key coming through turn 1 then and now through turn 2. Very tight and twisting section, high-speed corners and low-speed corners around here in Spain at the Circuit de Catalunya. And Key now running up towards turn 4. 22.2 through the first sector, which is exactly what you would expect, I think, on a set of hard compound of tyres around here. Key then down the hill in towards turn 5. Heavy braking zone, you've got the mast of the apex on the inside. Now through the kink of turn 6 towards this very tricky chicane at turn 7 and 8. One wheel onto the inside curb there, you will pick up an invalidation. Key making that look pretty easy though, the current championship leader as he comes through turn 9. Just having a little bit of a lift off through there, but looking good as he comes now down towards the end of the middle sector to 52 flat through the middle sector for Key. Now through turn 10 and then into the very tight and twisting section. This is what I'm on about the low speed corners. Through turn 12, then running all the way downhill towards the line from here. 13, then through the tricky chicane at 14 and 15, again dipping one wheel onto the inside curb, might pick up an invalidation. Key making that look like pretty nicely though, and he's ran the final corner and across the line. I think this is going to be a 1:19.6, which on the hard is not a bad lap at all.
No, it's not, and Piraya is just gonna finish his lap, and it seems it's 1:19.5, so it's faster than Kiki, and definitely that's a really good lap. So today maybe we're seeing a tight quali again, like in Bahrain.
I think we will see a tight qualifying. It was very close. I think it was 9/10 separating the top 10 last night out on track, if I recall, in TTL F1. I think it'll even be tighter here tonight. I'm just running aboard with Conti, who is coming towards the final couple of corners. I don't think he's on any sort of lap here though as he comes around the final corner. Yeah, he's just going to set himself up, but it's good to get a banker lap in. He'll go 5th, I think, with this as Conti comes across the line. And yeah, 22.5, but he's going to go a hell of a lot quicker. Charlie coming through the final sector. Oh, and he spins full 360. He's got the car going again. That will be one for the replay cameras for sure. Charlie ran through turn 10, but a very good recovery that was.
Yeah, definitely it was. I mean, loose in the back end, you know, and being able to get back on track without any further incidents, that's good controlling of the car, you know. And we can see the Storm, meanwhile, have set a really good time just behind Piraya with a 1:19.575. And just behind Kiki is Puzzles with a 1:19.676. So once again, I think we're gonna see a tight top 5, top 4 probably, as we've already seen sometimes really close from each other.
Yeah, top 5 separated by just over 0.5 of a second out on track. Just saw Jeffrey coming across the line there to set a lap 1:22.3 on a set of hard compound of tyres, but inevitably, as the conditions will improve through the track, the times will improve through the track. And I think Lord Hulton has just gone up into 8th position. The Soul Williams out on track tonight, 20.4, 9/10 separating the top 8 out on track. And in the early stages, Pariah out on top from Storm in 2nd. Storm now coming around the final corner to prepare on for another lap. We're right on board though with Key as he comes through turn 9 once again. The current championship leader, 300s up through the first sector. He's using up that DRS range to perfection, and he's 300s up again through the middle sector as he comes through here. Very nice indeed. Yellow flag just behind him was a Racing Point getting out of the way. I think that might have been Charlie. Key though ran the final couple of corners now, through in towards the tight twisting section of sector 3, now through turn 13, now through 14 and 15, just catching the curve on the inside, unsettles the car slightly, but a very good run off the final across the line. Can he go ahead of Pariah? He does. He does. Key by 200ths of a second, finding a 10th in the final sector. Key top, but look at the top 3 separated by 3/4 of a 10th.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have an insane qualifying here, and we haven't had Mashiro haven't had a lap yet. I mean, he's on his out lap, so we still have some drivers that generally are up there to set a time. So probably we're gonna see a really interesting quality today.
It should be really interesting. I was just right on board with Maximus. You were right, Mashiro's just got out of the way of Maximus there. So Maximus currently coming around the final couple of corners. Did well in practice, actually, Maximus. He was a bit late into the session, but he did well within the practice session, and Maximus now across the line. Goals, 7th behind Tom, but interesting to note, Passelt and Tom on a set of soft compound of tyres. Now, I said this with Spike last night. Softs, if you are going for softs in qualifying, that is the wrong strategy.
Yeah, definitely. But last week, I think Passelt also did the same in Bahrain, you know, qualified with the softest tire. Probably because maybe he doesn't seem himself with that speed, you know, and probably he prefers that position on track, you know, rather than going for a good strategy. So we'll see how it works out, but generally it's not a good sign if you start on softs.
Definitely not a good sign, and I think 2 stops for guys that go on to a set of softs, they have to go into a set of hards. I'm just running on board with Conti, just losing a bit of opposite lock there through turn 12. We'll run on board with Mashiro on his lap as well in just a second, but Conti coming around the final couple of corners now has looked quite consistent here throughout this lap, coming across the line. I think he might go ahead of Billy at this rate. Oh, he's just gone behind him by about 600th of a second, but goes up into 6th. Mashiro then through the final 2 corners, and the Japanese man, the sole Japanese driver, is going to set a banker lap. It's not going to be anywhere near the top, though. He goes 13th, but it's how important is it to set a banker lap around here in Spain?
Well, I mean, Spain is a track that you can invalidate easily with a silly mistake. So generally having a banker lap gives you a boost of confidence, you know, for doing other laps to try and push a little bit more. So I would say it's pretty important, pretty good to have a banker lap. And probably most of the drivers, I think that are on hards, probably they haven't done their best yet. I think they can improve a lot more.
Yeah, they definitely can. I was just flying on board with Daniil there. He was on a set of soft compactor tyres, 1.1 seconds up through the middle sector, then deciding to come back into the pits, which I think is probably the wisest strategy. He's probably just trying to do a bit of a race sim to try and calculate up how much the tyres wear out on a full qualifying lap in terms of the race as well. It's about 4 or 5%, I think. Conti is round through the middle sector. Not sure what happened there with Conti, but he has spun round through the middle sector, just trying to pick up on anybody that is on a lap. Pariah, who's currently second, is coming around the final couple of corners now. The Toro Rosso man, as Mashiro just coming across the line there to set a 19.3. So Mashiro goes quicker than both Pariah and Key, and he goes to the top spot, and we're halfway through qualifying here. Mashiro on top, from Key in second, Pariah third, Stallman fourth, Passelt on fifth. Remember, he's on a set of soft compound of tyres. Billy now up to sixth with a good lap, with Conti in seventh. Tom in eighth, he's on a set of softs as well. Maximus in ninth, Daniil rounding off the top 10. Jeffrey in 11th. Top 11 separated by just over a second out on track. With Lord Hulton 12th, Atlas Copel 13th, who I think is improving on this lap. We'll run on board with him. Charlie in 14th, Axner, Shumi, Mays and Hades still not yet to set a time. Very interesting actually that Hades has not set a time just yet. He's probably one of the favourites for pole position.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's pretty fast, and I think that last week, if he hadn't been hauled by his teammate, probably he would have probably have more chances to actually go for podium or even higher. So today I think it's the perfect moment to try and show that he can perfectly be up there with the rest. And I have to remind the thing is that last week I think top 2 were the McLarens, and once again they are coping. They are being first and second, so pretty solid quality from McLaren.
Yeah, Mashiro, I think he set pole position, if I'm not mistaken, in... Oh, sorry, it was Pariah, I think, that was set pole position, if I recall, from the graphic that I had. I didn't have it up with me, sadly, but I'm sure Mashiro was good up in qualifying, but then it just fell to pot. I think he had early contact within the race, and that's why he finished 5th in the race. Key, on the other hand, won the race, so the McLaren's definitely looking quite strong out on track. We saw Mays there coming out of the pits. I'm just trying to pick on anybody that is on a lap. Tom is not on one. Billy, however, in the middle sector is. Mays is coming around in towards the final sector, so we'll ride on board in the meantime with Billy. Currently 19.9 out on track. He's still on a set of hard compound of tyres. How do you think he's going on this lap?
Probably... I don't really know.
Oh, he's up by 2/10. Middle sector.
Yeah, I'm watching. Trying on mediums, right?
No, he's on a set of hards.
Oh, alright, yeah. Now I'm watching, definitely. Yeah, he's going through the last couple of corners, trying to hit the apex really well. Really important to have a good exit round here, while Jeffrey sets 119.1 with the mediums, and he goes to the pits, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Billy into the pits. Jeffrey, they'll go in top 19.1. There was a car ahead, and I was thinking he's on an outlap, this guy, but he's not. Jeffrey goes top with a 19.1. That's why I should really cover the action. Daniela, an 18.3 on a set of mediums. What a lap. 8/10 ahead of Jeffrey. That is the difference between a top 10 performance in qualifying and a bottom 10 performance in qualifying. That's a brilliant lap.
Yeah, definitely, it's brilliant. And I was going to say that Jeffrey's lap was pretty weak and he did it way too early. Although Daniel, despite doing it a bit early in qualifying, you know, because you still have 5 minutes and there's a massive difference between minute 5 and minute 2. Like, it's a pretty good lap, and probably it's a serious candidate for pole today.
Another serious candidate for pole, goodness me, as he drifts through turn 9 is Hades, and he's currently on a lap, and it's a 51.9 through the middle sector for Hades, looking to be towards the top end of the hard runners at this stage in qualifying as we approach the 4-minute mark. In qualifying, Daniil, Jeffrey, Mashiro, your current top 3, but I think Hades is going to probably jump up maybe into second with this lap as he cuts the final 2 corners nicely through the Toro Rosso, through the final corner. He's going to go, I think, second with this. Across the line, Hades, he goes 4th, and he's 8,000ths off Mashiro. He just looked like he lost a little bit of time in that chicane through the final sector. And actually, I think he's got right side end plate damage. No, he hasn't. That's my eyes. I need my eyes testing.
Don't worry, I mean, until today I still confuse left and right, so you shouldn't apologize, you know.
Charlie's just gone second, by the way, 19 flat out on track. About a 10th ahead of Jeffrey. I think he'll be happy with that lap.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Charlie was struggling a lot. I mean, he spun 2 times with the hard tire, having damage in the front wing, and definitely 19 flat with the medium tires is not that bad.
Just seen Maximus come to the end of his lap there, 19.8 for Maximus, so just 2/10 off Passels, who is on a set of soft compound of tyres. And interesting to see actually that Tom is also on a lap. He's just gone onto one now. He's also on a set of soft compound of tyres and really fighting the car through turns 2 and 3. That is not how to do turns 2 and 3, and Pumpkin Man, I think, maybe needs to take his mask off to try and see where he's going, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, actually, like, I don't know how this is gonna end, but definitely most of the people are really, really close, and I would not be able to predict actually a pole candidate now. Like, probably if I say someone, I would just curse him, you know, and he would do horribly wrong, because that's what always happens, you know. You bet for someone and then he does badly, but. And we can see yellow flag, someone lost it. It was Toro Rosso, right?
No, Mashiro. Yeah, Toro Rosso lost it in the middle sector. Mashiro was just on board with, lost it actually through turn 11. Just got caught on the curb a little bit too much. He was 8/10 down on his lap anyways. But we're right on board with Mashiro, who has invalidated his lap, and he was 2/10 up through the first sector. 2.2 seconds down now, though, with that invalidated lap. He's on a set of mediums, so we should expect him to go towards the top end of the field. We'll go on board, though, with the driver that's behind him directly out on track, Axnes, who is coming around the final couple of corners. And yes, that will be a very difficult name to pronounce when you have a bit of a skinful down here. Jeffrey is retired from the session, 19.1, but Axnes now coming around the final couple of corners. There's a McLaren, I think, just ahead of him, which is Mashiro. Axnes across the line goes second, 18.7. Nice lap.
definitely is a pretty solid lap. I mean, probably not good enough to be on top 5. Probably he'll be top 10, but I don't think he'll be inside the top 5. As we can see that many drivers are already on the lap. We can see Storms going through the second sector on the mediums, going on overtake mode, trying to push and hitting the apex. Now he opens DRS as he gets to that left-handed corner just after the second sector. As this part of the circuit is really like it requires a lot of skill, you know, it's really technical. And we can see he tries to hit the apex, trying to not lose the car and trying to gain as much time as possible. As we can see many people retiring, and Mashiro is one of them. So this could give Storm a big chance. Will he take advantage of? No, he doesn't.
Second.
1:18.6, 3/10 behind Daniel.
Who was that? Was just jumping up as well. I think that was Conti going 6th position as well. Key is on a lap.
And Lord Holton.
The current leader of the championship, 6/10 up in the middle sector. He's got to find a hell of a lot of time. I think Daniil's lap is a very special one to beat. Can Key beat this though? He's ran the final corner. I don't think he will. Across the line. No, 18.5. He just falls 2/10 short. So Key across the line. He would have had a chance for another lap, but I don't think he had the field within him. There's not many drivers on a lap. Pariah has just gone up into 4th position with an 18.6, I think that was. And Billy is on a lap. No, he's not. I think that is
Hades is on a lap.
Oh yeah, Hades is on a lap. He's through the middle sector. So through turn 6. And now on this is turn 6, and then up towards turn 7 and 8, which is the chicane. Hannah's the only one then on track that can actually set a quicker lap than Daniil at this stage. He has got it within him, and through the middle sector, that was very, very neat through there. Hannah is through the middle sector. What is it? It's a 51.5. He's 3/10 up. It will get him to Lord Holton Axner's sort of area, but I don't think he's looking quick enough through the middle sector. Now coming through the final couple of corners, through turn 12, and then down the hill all the way to the line from pretty much here on in, through turn 13, through 14 and 15. Can Hades get the run through the final corner to try and beat Daniil? This will be Recon and TTL F1 stuff. Can Hades beat Daniil? I don't think he can, but he goes 4th, and he's just ahead of his teammates. So Hades goes 4th. That is the end of qualifying. Everyone is done. Daniil, with that special 18.3, is on pole.
Yeah, I mean, it was an impressive lap. I didn't think that he would get pole, but in the end he did. And one of the keys why Hades didn't get higher, I think it's because he managed the ERS horribly. I mean, he was on hot lap mode the whole lap, and when he got to the end of the chicane, you know, he was without ERS, and that probably cost him 1/10. Probably he could have been second, and he just lost that time. But look at that. I mean, top 5 just in 3.5 tenths. I mean, that's insane.
That's fantastic for League 2. It is Daniil who takes pole position for the Ferrari team, with Key in 2nd, Storm in 3rd, the 2 Torossos, 4th and 5th, Hades and Pariah, Axes in 6th, Lord Holton, Charlie, Conti, Jeffrey, Mashiro, Passels, Maximus, Billy, Maze, Tom, Atlas Coco, Shumi, the only one not to set a time. The top 11 separated by less than a second out on track. Very similar to what we saw last night in TTL F1, be it the times in TTL F1 were quicker. And of course we come into Spain. It looks very similar conditions to what we saw in qualifying, and obviously strategies is going to come to the forefront here. Everyone going to be starting pretty much on a set of mediums or on a set of hard compound of tyres. Where do you expect the first pit stops to be made?
It's actually a really good question, because it can vary, you know, depending on how you save your tires. But generally with the mediums, you can actually go for 15, 16 laps, and then you go 17 laps on the hards. But you can easily do an undercut. I mean, the hards will not struggle to get till the end. So probably we'll see some undercuts going on in this race, but maybe some drivers will try the overcut. So the pit window will vary depending on the driver.
Yeah, just having a look at some of the comments that are coming through, and this is the first chance where I've really had to had a look at the comment section actually tonight. Good evening to everyone that is tuning in, to the 13 viewers that are having a look. Just a bit of news actually about Atlas Coppo, who's starting in 17th position. He's just recovered from surgery. He had his tailbone removed, and he's driving after 2 days. I think, honestly, that deserves an absolute round of applause for Atlas Coppo. Even making it here is an absolute godsend, and obviously he's starting 17th position, but hopefully we're going to see him finish the race, and that'll be a real achievement in itself. Looking then at some of the other comments that are coming through, Key was saying corner 14 and 15 was a killer for him. He's on second on the grid though, so he's done quite well. And Martin and Kristen Underwood saying, everyone, watch Sky F1 channel last Sunday when they broadcast the Formula 2019 race. All drivers were F1 and F2 drivers, commentators and sportsmen. Compared to TTTV, it was awful. I think we'll take that as a bit of a compliment, I think. Obviously, we're coming into the formation lap. I'm about halfway through the lap now, out on track. Majority of the guys on a set of medium tyres, but do you not think the hard is a quicker strategy around here when, like the likes of Mashiro, who's starting in 11th position, he surely is going to be, with the cloud cover as it is, surely Mashiro is going to be the chief gainer early on.
I mean, definitely we should keep an eye on Mashiro. I think that with the pace that he has and the consistency that he always shows, he will be for sure a serious contender for the win. And just before they get to their grid spot, I want to ask you, who do you think the podium will be?
Oh, I saw that question coming from an absolute mile off. I think Key will take it. I think Key will make it 2 out of 2. We should see a good battle again between him and Storm. Storm for second for me. I don't think Daniil has got the pace early on to try and lie up with this, but if I was to go for third, I'd put Mashiro in there.
Interesting. I would actually put Mashiro for the victory. I don't know why, but I have that intuition. But we can see that everyone is getting into the grid spot, and in an instant we'll get the red lights going on.
Here we go. 5 red lights then about to go out for round 2 of TTL F1 League 2 here in Spain. Long hold on the lights, but it's lights out and away we go. Good start by Daniil, Key and Storm and Hades. In fact, it's a very good start as well. Could be 3 wide for second position down towards turn 1. Little bit of lag there as Key goes side by side with Daniil down into turn 1. 2 by 2 they go. Front leaders are through. Everyone taking it easily further down the field. McLaren cutting across the track is Mashiro. Everyone though very clean through, and that's what we like to see. Atlas Coppo and Shumi we're taking it easily. Oh, Mashiro round in the background. Good spot there. Mashiro round in the background of shot, but Daniil leads the way early on. Jeffrey has dropped down through the field as well, so not sure what has happened to him. I think he's got caught up on the curb through turn 4 possibly, but Daniil now through turn 6 leads the way, and he's held on to the lead, and the top 3 have remained as they are. Good start by Hades and a good start by Pariah. I think most of the front guys, the top 6, have remained as they are off the start, as Hades is really on the back of Storm. As we go on board camera, is Pariah going to try and launch this one down the inside? Nearly launching it down the inside as Axnes tries to go for the move and hits the bollard off camera. So Axnes hitting the bollard there, but Daniil 6/10 away, and this is an advantage I think around Spain. The leader now beginning to pull away on the first lap. This will really ensure that this is going to be a real test out on track, and I think Daniil has done well on this lap to hold the lead of the race. Through lap 1 we go, and Daniil leads from Key in second, Storm in third, Hades in fourth, Pariah fifth. They all fly through camera shot. Conti is on the back of Lord Holton. This is for 8th and 9th position. Can the Red Bull get the move done down the inside? The Dutchman against the Norwegian. He is down the inside of him. Conti very late on the brakes there. Can he get the move done? Round the outside, nearly into the gravel. How on earth did he keep that? What a move! Conti has pulled off that one. What an amazing move that is. Parcells is trying to go down the inside of Lord Holton as well. He backs off. And a little bit of contact there. Maximus just misjudging Parcells' breaking point, I think, there. And Parcells has been spun round. Maximus is fighting with Billy, who's trying to go around the outside of him. A little bit of lag, actually, from Billy. But out on track, some very good action. Unfortunate, I think, with that contact with Maximus and Passel, probably going to be down as a racing incident as he gets down the inside of Billy for P10. Daniil leads the way though. What a race it has already been.
Yeah, definitely exciting first 2 laps, you know, many incidents going on. Mashiro just going into the gravel, Puzzles being pushed by Maximus, and we have only had 2 laps, so we still have plenty of race to go, so probably lots of action that we still that we have to see.
Plenty of racing to go, and lap 3 will bring the enabling of the DRS. Running down the straight as Hades tries to catch Storm for 3rd position. Running down the straight, he's within the slipstream, but he's not going to be close enough down towards turn 1. And I think Shumi and Maze are going side by side. They are. Shumi down the inside. I think he's going to get the move done on Maze. So Shumi gets the move done on a set of hards, beginning to make his way through the field. Quite an easy move that on Maze.
Yeah, definitely. And we just saw replay on the action between Puzzles and Maximus.
Sorry to cut in. Maximus is down the inside of Lord Holton, and a little bit of lag being kicked up here. Again, this is what we've seen before in the lobbies for TTL. I'm not sure if it's a glitch within the game. I think it might be my connection, to be honest, because Maximus is on the back of Lord Holton, but Lord Holton is through and he's into 9th position. I'm not sure what's going on. It's PG-18 here in Spain.
In my camera it was much worse. Oh, it definitely is much worse than in yours.
Is it a desync between them both?
Yeah, it's like, well, it's plus 18 content, I would say.
That's what we don't want to see. We definitely don't want to see that on the stream, to be honest. But
no.
Go on.
No, I was saying, yeah, it was probably lagging between them two, and we can see that Daniel said the fastest lap. Oh, yeah,
Storm down the inside of Key, trying to go for the move. Oh, he tried to go for the move. I think he had a half back out moment, but he wanted to try and commit the move anyways. We've got Lord Holton and Maximus still going side by side, PG-18 in the background there, but Hades is trying to, he's just lost a little bit of time actually. Hades through turn 3, losing a little bit of time, but Daniil beginning to get away, and what's most important I think at this stage, and we must stress this, Daniil now getting away, and these two battling behind will let Daniil get a buffer over the rest of the field when he comes into the pit lane. That is the most important thing out of this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I would also say that Mashiro right now, he doesn't need to panic. I mean, he's at the back, you know, but he still is.
Red Bull into the wall! Conti, heavy impact into the wall. He just got caught on the outside curve. I saw that from riding on board actually with Key, I think it was riding on board with, and honestly, that's a very hard impact for the Red Bull driver, and Conti out of the race, and Mashiro has been overtaken by Jeffrey down the inside, and Mashiro trying to fight the car, but he's running down in 16th position. The current champion of TTSL, now of course TTL F1 League 2, really finding the effects here as he tries to go down the inside of turn 14, never going to pull that one off, but out on track.
Maximus defending from...
Oh, and
I don't.
Well, kind of defending from Lord Holton. He's got through somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird what's happening. You know, you cannot commentate over that. But yeah, definitely they are having an interesting battle. Definitely.
Very interesting.
Well, behind Mace going for the move down the inside from the Hazard. I think that has a bit of damage, and he's been overtaken by all the drivers. As we can see, the Alfa Romeo going down the inside, and I think the Hazard just went deep.
Yeah, Tom into the grass. Oh, nearly rejoins, nearly making contact there with Jeffrey. Very fortunate, and yeah, you're right. Left side end plate damage is missing off the back of the front of Tom's car, I should say. Mashiro has managed to reclaim 13th position in the meantime. He's gone past Atlas Corporal, who of course is back from his surgery out on track, and he is doing a good job, and he's getting a couple of positions as Jeffrey runs wide there in P15, and he's just losing contact with a little bit of a train in behind. Lord Hulton and Maximus will not focus on. We'll focus on Hades though, who's on the back of Storm. Storm now losing the DRS actually to Key, and he has indeed lost that DRS to Key, and that is why, because Key has just set the fastest lap of the race. Hades then trying to gain on Storm down towards turn 1. Hades from a mile back could come down the inside, but he's not going to pull off the move, and we could have a 3-wide scenario. Here comes Billy on Maximus and Lord Hulton trying to go down the inside. He's got one. Can he get the other? He's got Lord Hulton. He goes up into 9th position, and I think good reading of the scenario, but Billy's pace down the straight was something else.
Yeah, definitely, and we can see behind Mashiro going down the inside of Mate on turn 1, and now he is up to 12, and if he wants to have a chance of podium, he needs to overtake Shumi as quickly as possible, because he can lose a lot of time if he doesn't get rid of Shumi in this lap.
Both of them on the same strategy as well, so they will probably compromise each other's races if they do decide to battle. But looking at the pace, Mashiro just looks a hell of a lot quicker compared to Shumi as we come down towards turn 7 and 8, right on board with Mashiro, just getting caught on the inside curve there slightly. But he's right on the back of Shumi, and I think he's probably going to try and line up a move down towards turn 10. Is the inside line going to be forgiving for him? He is going to go for the inside line, and he's much later on the brakes, and that's probably the easiest move you might see all night, as Mashiro has got the move done. He ran a little bit deep, but he got the move done. He's up to 11th, and now he's in clear air to catch Lord Hulton.
Yeah, I mean, he has free space to go for Lord Hulton, and probably the advantage that now Mashiro has is that he has a pretty good pace. You know, I think those Hearts still have plenty of laps to go, and now the drivers ahead will start to lose time bit by bit, and they will start to fight, so that will be a big opportunity for Mashiro to try and catch up.
Atlas Coppo just getting past Maze there. Beautiful helicopter cam actually as we ride on board. Atlas Coppo is through on Maze. A very, very comprehensive move there by Atlas Coppo. Clean as you like. Maze didn't really put up any fight and was done halfway down the straight. So Atlas Coppo up into 13th position. Daniil still holding on out on track, and for your benefit to everyone that is viewing, there are the positions in the race. Top 6 have remained as they are. Most positions gained, interestingly, right from the back of the grid. Shumi, and to be honest, I'm not surprised because of what happened in the midfield on lap 1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely not surprising. I agree totally with you there.
Looking at Daniil as he comes through the final corner to start on lap 8. As Billy has gone through on Maximus, I do believe. Yeah, Billy has got the move done. Surely that was not down in towards turn 13 where he got that move done. But Billy is through on Maximus. I didn't see where that happened out on track. I was paying more attention to the battle for second than anything else. But Billy has got past Maximus on track, and he's through, and he's up to 8th position. Good move.
Yeah, definitely Billy and Maximus and Lord Hulton having their push, like pull and push, you know, trying to defend that 8th position, but probably they should try and focus to get Charlie, because I mean they have a long race ahead and they could easily fight for something else than 8th, you know. As we can see right now, Storm really close from Kiki, as we can see that Hades is also trying to follow these guys.
Trying too much to follow these guys. A 3-second time penalty and a wheel into the gravel as well for good measure. So Hades just beginning to over-push it, I think, out on track. But he is on the back of Storm and he's not too far off. But the top 4 are staying really consistent. And if anything, it's benefiting Daniil again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for a few laps, it seemed like Kiki was actually catching Daniel. I think he actually got to be 1.3 behind Daniel, but suddenly he lost again all that time that he was gaining on Daniel. I don't know if he's trying to defend from Storm and that's affecting his pace, but definitely it's not doing good.
Yeah, Hades is still trying to get onto the back. It's 2.3 seconds. Key losing the time. I'm thinking he might be saving up his ERS. Yeah, looking at it, it's 16% in terms of ERS difference. Key on Daniil, it's actually about nearly 20% there. But Daniil might have just used up the ERS early on in the race to try and get away. then trying to keep the gap without using any ERS at all, and that's why Key and Storm are beginning to struggle to try and catch Daniil ahead. I think that might be a pretty plausible reason to seeing why Daniil is quite a far away ahead. 2.2 seconds as we see Hades again just overrunning it through turn 9. But Jeffrey, by the way, has gone into the pits. He's on a set of hard compound of tyres now. 24 laps on a set of hards. Is it manageable for Jeffrey?
I think, yeah, definitely. If it's Jeffrey, you can do it. But definitely 24 laps is pretty doable. You know, it's the hards. You don't struggle here with the hards. You can easily do 26 laps if you want it with the hards.
Tell you what, Billy is right on the back of Charlie. This is for 7th and 8th position out on track. Phenomenal run out the final corner. I think Billy could have Charlie here down the straight. Look at the speed of this Haas. He's definitely got a straight line speed set up in this car, because Billy has absolutely sailed past Charlie as if he wasn't there, really. Around the outside line, job done, down into turn 1. A little bit of lag, but Billy's through.
Yeah, nice move by Billy. He had an amazing exit, and yeah, when you have that difference in straight line speed with DRS, it's really easy to make the move. And we can see that now Maximus probably will try to make the move work as quick as possible, because he knows that if he loses too much time here, Billy could actually go away, you know, and Maximus doesn't want that, you know. He probably feels that he has Billy's pace, so he will try his best to try and overtake Charlie in the DRS zone.
Just looking at from Maximus's point of view, it looks as if Charlie's rears are beginning to wear, because you can tell significantly that there's a blister down the middle of the tyre. I think I can see a blister down that left one. Oh, Maximus has lost it! Maximus has lost it on the curb. That, unfortunately, has been caught on stream for him, and that is not one that he wants to look back on at all. Maximus just getting caught on the curb purely. He rejoins track in a safe manner. Shumi just coming through behind him. I think Passels has gone through on Maze, who might have made a mistake. I think Maze, yeah, he's been into the gravel, so Maze has had a moment, I think, out of turn 9. And that's why Passels is now ahead of him. And he's got left side end plate damage as well.
Yeah, so unfortunate, but I think you were calling it. I mean, they were already starting to struggle with the tires, and probably that was a result of that. He just touched the curb and he just lost it. So unfortunate for Maximus, but we could actually predict that happening.
I don't know how on earth this has happened, but the gap for the lead is now a second. How?
Definitely, I mean, suddenly Kiki hasn't been pushing too much. I mean, we can see that his ERS is almost the same. Might Daniel struggle with the tires?
I think Daniil's made a mistake somewhere out on track, because that gap was about 2.3 seconds the last time I looked. To lose 1.3 seconds in a lap, essentially, is not really the best thing to do. I think Daniil's made a mistake, possibly through turns 1 and 2, and again he just runs a little bit wide there through the final corner. Key is just out of DRS range. Somebody that is within DRS range, though, is Storm, and Axnes as well, and Pariah going to be looking quite close down the straight. Storm not going to get the move done, though. We're on lap 12 out of 33. If you're just tuning in now, where on earth have you been? As we're going to see Axnes, I think, go through here on Pariah, down the straight through to turn 1. Pariah holds the inside line and he holds on to 5th position. I think Axnes was just trying to maybe switch it back, and that's why we saw a little bit of a change in line from him. Pariah always going to defend that position, but out on track, I think the action, apart from Conti being out of the race, has been very good.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that I want to mention is that Kiki should do the undercut now. I mean, Daniel is having issues. Definitely Kiki has the ERS to actually go for the undercut, and he has to take the chance. I mean, Daniel seems weak right now. I don't know why, if it's the tires or he's just struggling. But definitely Kiki needs to pit right now. I mean, the house can go easily 21 laps, so he has to take the chance.
I've got to be honest, since you've said that, he's opened up his ERS and now the gap's out for 1.5 seconds. I think it's purely been a case of ERS management for Daniil, and Daniil is into the pits. So Daniil into the pits from the lead of the race. Key follows him in. Storm is continuing on, possibly to try and go for the overcut. Hades is in, so that means Pariah and Axnes will continue on, and Axnes is nowhere near on the back of Pariah as we come down the straight. Billy, though, is really creeping into this race, and I've got to be honest, out on track, if there's anybody that can try and pull off a bit of an overcut out on track, he's getting closer, is Billy. On! Pariah and Axnes make contact, and Billy's left the session. Billy has left the session, and Pariah and Axnes have made contact through turns 2 and 3. Axnes, I'm not sure what happened there, was too far off on the camera angle. It looked to me as if Axnes had touched the back end of Pariah, and that is what happened with Pariah, and that is why he is facing into the wall. I think I saw that. That might be one for the replay cameras, that.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, I couldn't catch it, so I'm not really sure what happened. But probably if it was an incident between them two, that could be investigated, because, or maybe he just lost it. I mean, I'm not really sure what happened there.
It looked like Axnes was getting closer, visibly down the straight, and to me, I was running on board. I think I was running on board with Billy at the time, and it looked to me as if Axnes had touched the back end of Pariah. I might be unsure. I'm very unsure about that. You'll have to watch out for that. Mashira was round through turn 11. About that, you'll have to watch out for that. Mashira was round through turn 11. Apologise to everyone that has been affected as Axnes down the inside of Shumi, who's still yet to pit in. Very easy move there from Axnes. He gets the move done in the Alfa Romeo and he's up into 7th position. Yeah, just to speak about Shumi, in fact, coming back on Axnes, still not done with just yet. But Axnes has got the move done now, though, and a yellow flag in Sector 3 is Maximus again. Shumi's still not giving up, though, on Axnes. Look at this. Try to go. No. No, Axnes has now got the move done, but he's struggling to pull away from Shumi, who looks like those tyres are coming back to him.
Yeah, and Storm went deep into braking and he lost almost a second.
Oh, he's lost 8 tenths. Goodness me. And very deep, I think, into the braking zone at turn 10 there. Just running on board with other things that are happening out on track. Billy and Pariah have been going at it this lap. Being seen on the left-hand side of my screen. Mashiro now giving up into the lead of the race, which will mean Daniil is now on the back of Key. But here comes Billy, trying to go around the outside of Pariah. Can he get the move done? No, he tried to switch it back, but never going to get the move done. And Key is down the inside. Sorry, Key is around the outside. Daniil on the inside line through turn 1. This is for the lead of the race. Daniil and Key fighting it out through turn 3. Still side by side through here. And Key has mastered himself round the outside. What a defensive move that is from Key. He gets the move done and he's still in the lead of the race. Phenomenal racing between both of them.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I mean, it was phenomenal, but meanwhile Billy was fighting with Pariah, you know, and he got front wing damage on the left hand plate. So unfortunate for him.
Front wing damage, and I also think that he has also left the session. Yeah, he's also lagged out of the session, which is an utter shame, I think, for him out on track. But Daniil, right on the back of Key, and Mashiro's on the back of Axnes. Yeah. Look at this.
All over the Alfa Romeo. I mean, he wants to make the comeback work, and if he wants that to work, he needs to overtake the Alfa Romeo, and I think he's going down the inside. They go side by side.
Down the inside. He's got the fresher.
Yeah, he's him off.
Much fresher tyres, the medium tyres. He's got 6 laps fresher tyres, essentially, from him pitching in, and Mashiro's just made it look pretty easy, I think, down the inside. He gets the move done. He's up into 5th position. Billy, I'm glad to say, has joined back. Ooh. Storm right on the back of Hades, running down towards turn 1. Not quite close enough. 3-second time penalty there. You must be kidding. That one will be... that one's bound to be appealed. Goodness me, that's a 3-second time penalty that shouldn't have been awarded.
Yeah, I mean, this game is known by its stupid penalties, you know, so they might appeal, yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a bit silly, I have to agree. And we have many fights going on. I mean, Storm trying to overtake Hades, Daniel trying to go for the lead, and meanwhile behind, Lord Holton tried to overtake Charlie too, and Mashiro now that has 12 laps to try and get that 14-second gap down to 0.
Charlie as well is trying to close in on Axnes, so that is actually a 3-way battle for 6th, 7th and 8th out on track, as Axnes is only 6 tenths ahead of Charlie. Since he's been overtaken by Mashiro, he's trying to keep it on the track quite consistently. Oh, and we just think that was Key running just a little bit wide onto the grass there through the final corner. Daniil right on the back of him. Mays, I think, Passos, I think, is going to be lapped here. But running down the straight, Daniil, Newcastle's up the race. I think that'll be bettered though by Mashiro. Storm is getting close to the back of Hades. 2 for 1. Can he get the move done? Daniil down the inside. He can't. Storm is not close enough for the move either. So Hades stays as he is. And Daniil, 3-second time penalty. Where did he pick that one up?
First corner. I mean, he went
inside.
Too much over the curb. Yeah. So a bit silly because he overdo it. You know, he could have done it easily and he just overdid it. And
Billy out of the race. Billy out of the race. I think he must have tried to take control of his car, and I'm not sure if his throttle has been indicated there, but definitely didn't seem to me that there was anything wrong with the car. I think Billy is out of the race, so unfortunate for him to disconnect, and now a DNF, which is not really going to make him, I don't think, that happy out on track. Daniil! Oh my god, what a recovery! Jesus Christ! Daniil had run wide. He had nearly a bit of a half spin through that. I would love to see that back on the replays later on. But Daniil, he's went over the sausage curb essentially, nearly lost the car. He's turned it literally back left, and he's recovered the car. I don't know how on earth he has recovered that.
Yeah, definitely that was a miracle save, and more than a save, like how has he kept it clean, like without crashing.
He's right on the back. I tell you what, he's coming onto the back of Key running down towards someone. I don't think he's going to be close enough. No, he's not. Daniil, though, well, you know what they say, God works in mysterious ways, and I think that was definitely a Christian intervention, I think, with that one. Lord Hulton. Yeah. Lord Hulton on the back of Charlie in the meantime. We're not going to get all religious in TTL F1 League 2. Lord Hulton down the inside, gets the move done, had the pace down the straight, and he's through, and he's up to 6th. But Charlie, trying to get a switch back, not quite.
No.
He's run out wide as well. That's going to compromise his run.
And just look, Mashiro, he was 14.5 seconds 1 lap ago. He's already 12 seconds from Storm. He is definitely going for it.
He is catching, but 11.8 seconds with 10 laps to go. You essentially got to think of this logically. He's got to try and close off 1.2 seconds, I think, on average, to try and get to Storm alone.
1 point something per lap.
Yeah.
I mean, in the previous lap, he reduced the gap by 1.5 seconds, so why not? I mean, he could easily do it. I think Marcio has the pace. And one key thing, a driver, when he sees that he's making a comeback, you know, and you will see that.
I'm gonna put in because Daniil's right on the back of Key, trying to go down the inside line, and again, not quite close enough. Storm, however, has got round on the outside through towards turn 1. And he gets the move done, so Storm is through up the 3rd. Daniil, though, looking quick down the straight, but never close enough from the final corner. He's got to be within 4/10 to try and get past, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he needs to be close enough because if not, it's a short straight. So compared to, I don't know, Mexico or Italy.
Daniil, God almighty, Daniil ran very wide. Sorry to put in again, but Daniil ran so wide through turn 6. It's almost as if he was going onto another track, to be honest. But somehow, again, he's still stayed in 2nd position. Tom, by the way, is being lapped as we speak, and I think he will be a ghost car to Storm and Hades. But to be honest, these two, they're essentially 2 battles out on track. It's essentially 2 groups. Key and Daniil are battling out on track, but because they're battling, and because Storm and Hades are battling, now the gap is out for a second, they might start to close in. But honestly, I think, to be honest, this is it. This is it. Daniil much closer. I think he's going to get the move done before turn 1 here. Daniil, the Norwegian, against Key, the championship leader, about to be overtaken out on track, and Daniil has taken the lead.
But he tries to
Key much late on the brakes, trying to go around the outside. Oh, and Daniil just about pulls that one off. Fantastic racing. Credit to Key, though, for trying to pull off that move down around the outside, down towards turn 1. But my God, Daniil is into the lead of the race. Finally, he's made that move stick, and he was within 4/10 at the final corner.
Yeah, and I don't think this is over because I think Kiki is gonna try and make it back, you know. They are pretty close in pace. I mean, they've been showing it during the race, and honestly, I think Kiki has the pace to do it. Now, Daniel will try to use all the ERS on the straight, while Kiki will try to save, you know, with the DRS open. So it's gonna be a quite strategic race till the end, but we're gonna enjoy it.
We are definitely going to enjoy it, and I couldn't be more proud to have a co-commentator like you, Paco, alongside me to take us through the final 8 laps as Daniil makes a mistake. This is Key's opportunity to try and get the move done. He was so much on the curb there through turn 13, but Key right on the back, but he's run a little bit wide. Daniil, interestingly, trying to break the toe, running down the straight. Key, though, has got a quite straight line speed set up. Look at the closing speed of this McLaren. He's going to be side by side down towards turn 1. Key down the inside line. He gets the move done. He says thank you very much for that one. Daniil, I'm not going to say he gifted them the move, but Daniil certainly just put his elbows out and said, you know what, I'm coming through. I want the lead of the race. And that was a fair move. Clean. It was hard, but it was fair, and Key takes the lead of the race.
And watch out, because this battling between them is allowing Storm and Hades to catch up with the rest. And just I'm gonna put you in a situation. Imagine that they start fighting. It could be the perfect opportunity for Mashiro to try and get back to the fight. I mean, it is 9 seconds off. There's 7 laps remaining, but everything could happen right now.
Anything could happen.
Play of the move. Well, they're watching a replay, but I'm saying way behind the action pass. But yeah, there was a replay, and that was a beautiful move, as you said, putting the elbows out, you know, saying I'm here and I want the victory today.
I think Daniil, to be honest, is just beginning to struggle with the tyres. The clouds are beginning to come over at certain points of the track, and this is exactly what happened last time out, last night, in fact, in TTL F1 League 1, where the tyres began to fade, but Key is going to be under opportunity here. This is Daniil's time to maybe throw the elbows out at Key this time. Daniil down the inside line. Oh, nearly gave him it back, but he gets the move done in a cleaner fashion compared to Key, and he's got the move done, and Key makes a mistake.
Well, more than a mistake, I think he went for an alternative
switchback
line, you know? Yeah, a switchback. And we can see that Daniel definitely is struggling because he went a bit deep there in turn 4, and definitely probably Kiki, if he's clever, he will try and just save ERA, save fuel, you know, in the last lap try and go for the move, because definitely, and Storm, I think he made a mistake. I think they were fighting, and there is a big gap now, and Mashiro is now 7.3 behind. So we're having an interesting part of the race where probably the fight is divided in two, and Mashiro will have now a bigger chance to try and catch Hades and Storm.
Got a third alternative battle as well, and I'm just on board with this. Charlie was right on the back of Lord Hulton down towards turn 1. Yellow flag in sector 2. I think was Shumi who was round through turn 5. It was. Shumi has just lost about 5 seconds there on track, so Shumi round through turn 5. The mini-map does not know any bounds as Key tries to close in on Daniil for the lead of the race. We'll go back on board with Charlie and Lord Hulton in just a second, but Key not going to be close enough down the outside, and Hades is not close enough on Storm, so we can then put the attention back on to Lord Hulton and Charlie for 6th and 7th position. 4.5 tenths crossing the line, and now Charlie in the racing point, right on the back of the Williams, the sole Williams here tonight, Lord Hulton, but I don't think Charlie is close enough, and to be honest, if I've got to be a bit picky, I don't think Charlie's got a straight line speed setup. His setup looks more set up for the corners, if I've got to be honest, and Lord Hulton actually mastering the line through there gains a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely, and I have to agree there. I mean, Tavoli will struggle to overtake Lord Hulton unless he has a really good exit from that last corner, because with that setup he could try and go for that exit, you know, that allows him to be at least side by side into turn 1, but he's gonna have a difficult task ahead of him. So we can see that there's still 5 laps remaining. Well, in less than some seconds there will be 4 laps remaining, and we can see that Mashiro is 5.8, as we can see yellow flags were
Tom,
sector
I think
3.
that is.
Oh,
yeah, it is. It's Tom.
Yeah, not the race he wanted, probably. He's having a difficult race.
He is having a difficult race. He's still continuing on in 14th position. Many drivers, I think, in that scenario would probably give up. Yeah. But full credit to Tom. He's trying to make a real go out of this, and you never know. A couple of spinners out ahead, a couple of DNFs out ahead, he might be in the points. You never know what can happen in racing, in league racing especially. Got about 4.5 laps to go, and I think, I'm not going to curse this, Daniil is now beginning to pull away from Key out in front, and I don't think Key is now getting the pace to try and catch back up to Daniil. Daniil really has mastered this race, and that's probably why that gap is increasing again. We spoke about it earlier. That ERS management from Daniil has been fantastic this race, and he is beginning to pull away once again from Key. But Key's not going to give up on this one.
No, definitely not. And I just want to tell you, measure your words carefully, because before the race started, I said that I had an intuition about Mashiro. Look, in the first lap, he just went into the gravel and his race was almost over. He's back in P5, but definitely, yeah, just measure your words, because sometimes without wanting it, you know, you curse drive.
So I think with the way how the race is unfolding, I'm on board with Mashiro now, and how the race is unfolded from it's exactly what Bahrain was, where he had contact on lap 1, he was pretty much down to the back of the field, undercut the field then, and that's why he's now in 5th, and he's 5 seconds off Hades. Penalties could come into play. Mashiro might have a chance of a top 3, but I'm going to have a run through the top 5 and penalties now. Daniil is on 3 penalties. Wow. Key is on 2 penalties, so Key's just got to keep him within 3 seconds to Daniil to take the race win. Storm has picked up a penalty, so Storm even at a better advantage. Hades has picked up 2 penalties, so not much of an advantage, and Mashiro has picked up nothing. Nothing. Right, he's picked up 1 warning and that's it.
Mashiro could actually be
for P2.
3rd. Yeah, P2 or P3, yeah, definitely. I mean,
he's catching. Daniel, 4.5 seconds.
I mean, it's wow. I didn't expect that, and actually if Mashiro is able to keep that pace going for the last couple of laps, he could actually be challenging for P2, because Storm probably he'll get the win. I mean, if he's able to keep it under that gap with Kiki, he's gonna get the win. But then, for example, Mashiro, it's the question mark here, because we don't know how his pace will get in these 2 final laps. So we actually have an interesting situation here.
Let's just put it into perspective about Mashiro's gain on that last lap there. I think he gained, and I'm not mistaken this, I think he gained 0.8 of a second as a result of that. May's just letting everyone through, I do believe, on the inside of the apex there. But
really
Storm,
inside of the apex.
Yeah, right on the inside of the apex, on the grass I should say. He's right on the grass. That's a new definition of letting somebody through, I think. But fair play to Maze, he's down there in 13th position, still going round, still trying his best, and that's what we like to see, not giving up out on track. Daniil has made a mistake for the lead of the race. Key 7/10 off. This could yet throw up another perspective.
What an ending we're gonna have. It seems that in these final laps the race was going a little bit down, and we just have the race back into the best at the best point of the race. So let's see what Kiki does. He's gonna have DRS. Will he try to catch up again to Daniel? I mean, he has a big chance ahead of him. Probably he doesn't want to risk it. You know, he knows that he has less penalties. But in fact, a driver never gets satisfied with being behind of the driver. He always wants to show that he is faster by being ahead of him. So what will Kiki do? He's 6/10 and going down. So we have an interesting situation with 2 laps to go.
Just right on board there, a superior run through Sector 1 was really in favour of Key there. Daniil just looked a little bit lethargic, if I've got to be honest, on the power. Hades, by the way, has made a mistake as well, just to pick up on that. Hades made a mistake, I think, through turns 2 and 3, and that is why he's now lost, he's now down to 2 seconds behind Storm, and it's not really going to play into his perspective either, because he's got 2 penalties. Key, though, and Daniil 5.5 tenths away for the final lap of the race, which will begin, of course, as we cross the line. But this is going to be interesting.
And one thing before this crack of a battle starts is that look at the ERS. Daniel hasn't saved, and meanwhile Kiki has almost the ERS full. So this is gonna play an important role here. And now Kiki will have the biggest chance. Look at him. He had a good exit from the last corner. And he's gonna try and dive around the outside probably.
New personal best.
To defend the inside.
Key to the inside line. Key to the inside line. He's going to get the move done. Daniil around the outside. How on earth have they not made contact through there? And they're still going. And Daniil, I think, just lost it on the curve there through turn 2. Which is why you saw the contact with Key. I'm not sure. It could have been a little bit of a move to the right-hand side. I don't know. It was on a wide-out camera angle. I'd love to see the onboard shots from these guys, the POV shots. But this has now put... surely not put Mashiro in a chance of a race win, has he? Has it?
No, because Storm, I think Storm has only 3-second penalty. So unless Storm picks up another 3-second time penalty, he's gonna win. And Mashiro will be second. That's for sure.
Daniil just making a slight mistake there at the final corner. It's not over until the fat lady sings, as they say. Key right on the back of Daniil as they come through turns 12 and 13 for the through turn 11 and 12 for the final time, as Key just got caught up on that curb. But Daniil has done everything right. He has really taken this race by the scruff of the neck. A lot of battling in behind has ensured that. But I want to see what the penalties does. Daniil across the line to win in Spain. Key in second, the stay as they are. Storm up into the lead. Hades has finished third for now. Mashiro across the line has run out of fuel, but he still gets second.
He was going to win. Without that running out of fuel in the final corner, he could have probably won.
I don't think he. I think he was probably about 2 seconds off still, even if he did have full fuel in. So Mashiro running out of fuel, but he still gets second. A fantastic race. I feel sorry for Key though, finishing in second in that race, dropped down to fifth, and he's finished 1900ths off Hades. That's unfortunate.
Really unfortunate.
Pariah managed to get past Axnes, by the way. We missed that. I think it was down towards turn 10 where we got the move done on lap 31. So Pariah got the move done on Axnes for P8, Axnes P9. Shumi coming across the line in P10. We've got Atlas Copo, who from surgery, by the way, has finished 11th and a personal best to round him off on the final lap of the race. And Jeffrey now coming around the final corner. An unlucky race for him. He's had a little bit of contact, I think, throughout, and Jeffrey across the line to finish in P12. What a race that was in Spain. I don't think it was as good as Bahrain, but Spain never fails to produce a good race, and that certainly was one. As we see the podium celebrations now begin, and to the top step of the podium and to the championship lead, more importantly, is Storm, because he takes the race win here tonight. Of course, all of these results are official, unofficial results, so you might see penalties added on, and I'm sure with some of the incidents out on track, we might have appeals and whatnot about 3-second time penalties, but I don't think they can be appealed in TTL. But what a win for Storm out on track. And not forgetting about Mashiro with his great comeback as well. Oh, I get XP! For joining back into the session, I get XP. 2,500 XP. Thank you very much, Codemasters, for that one. Storm takes the win out on track. But for me, driver of the day has got to be Mashiro. Second on penalties, may I add. Second on penalties. But his drive, again, attributes to a champion. He was TTSL champion last season. He finished second. Daniil from the front finished in third, with Hades jumping Key in the end by 1900ths of a second for fourth and fifth. Lord Hulton is sixth. Charlie in seventh. Pariah 8th. Axes 9th. Shumi throwing off the top 10. 6 out of the top 10 all Norwegians. Atlas Copo in 11th. Jeffrey in 12th. Mays finished. Tom Passel didn't. He was a human. It was a non-human car. Billy, Maximus and Conti all finishing out of the points, and they also DNF those three out on track. Well, that was an absolute thriller. Your home track, Paco, what do you make of that?
I'm a bit speechless, because we've seen, I think that we could have seen a better end to the race. I mean, if that contact hadn't happened between Kiki and Daniel, it could have been much better that final lap. But overall, I think it was a really good race. I think it was not better than Bahrain, but still was pretty good. And one thing that I want to highlight is that Mashiro made a mistake at the start of the race. Compared to Bahrain, it was his fault. In Bahrain, it wasn't. And actually, this is what a top-class driver does, you know, solves his mistakes, does a perfect race, making a good comeback, you know, keeping his head cool, you know, and keeping focused. And when you don't have penalties, these things happen. Last week I was in a league race and it happened the same. I didn't have penalties, the rest had, and from being P6 I went to P2. So what can I say? Congratulations to Mashiro, because he did an absolute crack of a job today.
Absolutely fantastic racing out on track, and hopefully that has given you your motorsporting fix for this beautiful Friday night. And given the circumstances, I think in real life we all needed that bit of a lift up and go. Of course, tomorrow night we do go to CRC. I have got to get the track right because I will probably get fired if I don't get this right. So give me a second, I will confirm where we are this week. We are in Fuji. It's Fuji Speedway. Grand Prix track, I do believe it is. So we are going to run there for the Japanese Grand Prix for CRC. Tier 2 hopefully should be live at 7:30. If not, you will be seeing 8:30 action. Myself and Alan Cavagnaro will be taking you through that one, as always, on a Saturday night. And then we run through the mill all again next week, where we have, of course, Tuesday for TTL F2. Then no mini league on Wednesday if you're in mini league 2. Mini league 1, however, will be broadcast. Kieran McGinley and Aidan Carter taking you through both of those races for week 2 of mini league 1. And then Thursday we're back for TTL F1 League 1, and then we're back next Friday. And you never guess where we go. We go to my home track. We go to Britain.
Yeah, I mean, next week we're gonna have also an interesting race, definitely. I think it's a good circuit to actually have good action, better than Bahrain or Spain. So I'll be there, you'll be there, we'll be enjoying that race probably. I think it's gonna be the best one so far. Bold prediction.
Yeah, Britain, of course, and just looking through the calendar there, we've got Britain, Germany, Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Russia, USA and Brazil, and then that Challenge Cup event at the end of the season for Britain as well. Just catching on to the end of those graphics there. But absolutely fantastic. Thank you, a big thank you to TTG_Honeybadger, our director-in-chief for tonight, taking us through with the replays and the graphics and the overlays. It's fantastic to see. Hopefully we don't get a strike from Formula 1 management this time, like we have done with the Mini League and TTL F1. But I'm pleased to say those races are now available for you guys to watch as well. I think we deserve a lie down from that, honestly. Fantastic racing out on track, and of course we go to Britain next week. So from me, James Head, from him, Paco Suarez, we will bid you farewell. Hopefully everyone will stay safe, and remember, stay home, protect lives, and save lives, and protect your National Health Service and your local health service as well. But from me, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, for round 3 in Britain, goodbye.
Goodbye.